Welcome to Kashmir Garden. In 1940s and 1950s, this area was predominantly a white area. And right here, as we're on the corner of Cavalcade and 59, now as we go around, we're looking around Highway 59. It wasn't there at the time, but on the other side of Highway 59 would be 5th Ward in Jensen and Cavalcade. All right, in the 1950s, early 50s, and late 40s, all of this was predominantly white area. It's called Kashmir Garden. Now on the other side, and Kashmir Garden went all the way down Cavalcade, all the way to Lockwood was Kashmir Garden. Then on the other side of Lockwood, most of that was called City Gas. But right now we're doing Kashmir Garden because whites used to be up in here in the early 50s and late 40s, and blacks started moving over here in this Kashmir Garden area in the late 50s, should we say early 50s and late 40s. We're going down Cavalcade, which was one of the busiest streets in Kashmir Garden. Now, when this, and there's Seagon been there a long time. As we go down here, Cavalcade, we're going to hit to the next busy street, which is Hirsch Road. Okay, now blacks was all up and down here in the early 50s. Blacks was moving in here. White people were moving out. But at the same time, whites was predominantly area here in Kashmir Garden. So HISD decided to build them a school. When I say they, that means white people. A school out here for them. We're down Hirsch Road, which is another busy street out here in Kashmir Garden. Hirsch Road runs across the other busy street, which is Cavalcade. Now we're going on down Hirsch Road here. And all of these areas in the late 40s and early 50s, 51, 52, we're talking about, was predominantly white area. Okay, when HISD decided to give the white people out here in Kashmir Garden a school in the late 50s, in fact, 1957, they started building the school in 1956. And in 1957, they had built the school, but blacks had came over here and it was moving in here so rapidly from 5th Ward, coming from 5th Ward out there on the other side of 59 that I showed you, and also coming down Crane Street, crossing over to Cavalcade. And when they decided to build that school, they already had them an elementary school out here, which was right over here, which is towed down now. Was called MacDay. It was an elementary school right here where the metro place is right there. And then in the early 1957 of January, they built a school out here for the white people. But blacks were moving out here so fast that the white people didn't want the school because they moved out because they said there was too many blacks over here. And that's the school right there, which was the original Kashmir, opened up in January 1957. As you look over there at Kashmir, that no longer is Kashmir now, they turned it into Key Junior High School. This school was Kashmir Junior and Senior High School in January 1957. And later on, they moved over there on Lockwood. But right now, we're going back into Kashmir Garden. And when they gave the school over to blacks, it relieved a lot of people that was out there in 5th Ward that was going to E.O. Smith. If they was in the 7th grade at E.O. Smith, or 8th or 9th, they would come to the brand new school, which was called Kashmir Junior and Senior High School. Kashmir is the only school in HISD district that is named after a community. And as we go down Hirsch Road, we're leaving out of Kashmir Garden. We're going to the biggest part of the black people had during the early 40s and early 50s, which is called Trinity Garden. All right. Now, as we go down Hirsch Road, that's what the street was called, Hirsch Road. And it used to be a railroad track here that separated Kashmir Garden from Trinity Garden. Now, as we go over this overpass here, the railroad track is underneath us. And as we come out, now we are leaving out of Kashmir Garden and we're entering Trinity Garden. And as we come down in Trinity Garden, one of the most popular streets in Trinity Garden is coming up called Bennington. We're gonna go down Bennington because it was a lot of businesses, black businesses, and a lot of money that was going down on Bennington Street here. Bennington was a big street back in the 50s and early 60s here in Trinity Garden. And as you can see, they still busy. But they ain't taking care of money business. They taking care of some sickness business, a fight or whatever going on, is paramedic business. And right here, I'll never forget, that's Delight. Now, whether or not the store still called Delight, I can't tell you, but that was the Delight food market right there. And that was a big part of Trinity Garden out here when they wanted to buy groceries for their family. And they would have buy lunch meat, and the butcher would cut up the lunch meat, summer sausage, crackers, cheese. These were things that we were eating during the 50s and the early 60s. Now, as we go down Bennington, and we are in Trinity Garden now, we go down Bennington, and we're gonna go down Bennington up here to Jensen. And Jensen was another busy street here in Trinity Garden, because Jensen ran all the way through 5th Ward, all the way to Trinity Garden. But it picks up on what we call now Kelly Street, but during that time it was called a North Loop. This was before they built 610. Okay, as we go down Bennington here, they had a club they used to call, that was real popular, man. It's called Club de Lisa. Man, everybody, if they had any entertainer, they'll come to Club de Lisa. And as we go down here to Bennington, up here, we're going towards Jensen. And all of this was businesses and hotels and motels, or mainly motels and clubs all up and down up in here on Bennington. So they had a few houses down here too, but it was mostly like a business thing where people go out and go out on the weekend and have a good time. And right there used to be a store called CNY Grocery Store, which was another store that a lot of blacks out here in Trinity Garden had to go and buy their groceries from. And we're going straight on down Bennington here to Jensen. And right up here, it was a good, and now he still got it, Joe, man. Joe Cat, and they make the best hamburgers in the town out here in Trinity Garden. And right here is the biggest supermarket they used to have in Trinity Garden. It was once called Coleman Supermarket, right here. And as you can see, it's still a supermarket. And we're gonna go down Jensen, and we're gonna go down Jensen here to Cross Timber. Then we're gonna come down Cross Timber. All right, there's Coleman. That used to be Coleman Supermarket. They call it Jensen Supermarket now. But we going on down here, and they had nothing but little clubs and businesses here. As you can see, it's still businesses here. That's why you don't see too many homes up in here. Jensen have always been like a business part, especially of Trinity Garden and 5th Ward. Now, they had them apartments there. They've been there a good little while. They built them apartments because everybody couldn't afford to buy a home out here. So they started building apartments, and a lot of people out here in Trinity Garden, some of them was moving out towards now Kashmir Garden, because blacks are now part of taking over. The whites have moved out. The blacks have taken over the school. They gave Kashmir Junior Senior High School to blacks in 1957 when they built it, and the school was brand new. Now we're going down Cross Timber in Jensen. We're gonna go down Cross Timber and keep on down Cross Timber to another major street out here in Trinity Garden. And we'll go down, which is Hirsch. Hirsch is the street that runs through. We're going down here. All of these back up in here with houses, and they had a grocery store. They had a little stop and go and a little strip center right here on this corner. Not on this corner, but the next corner right here was a little strip center. Now they made a service station out of it. But that was a strip center. They still got it as a strip center, but they just upgraded it. And then over the left-hand side over here was a grocery store. You know, that people say, man, how you remember all this stuff? Because I used to be a bread man out here. And these people were real nice to me, man. I have nothing but love. That's why I'm videoing. That was KP Supermarket right there. As we going on down here towards 59, we're still out here in Trinity Garden. We're doing a video for Trinity Garden, man, because a lot of people don't know, man. Trinity Garden is a much part of Houston as 3rd Ward and 5th Ward, because it have done and did so much for the black community that was once out in 5th Ward. And Trinity Garden have did so much, not only to help Phyllis Wheatley, but also to help Kashmir High School. And as we go down here to Trinity Garden, we're crossing over here, and all of this was, and we're crossing over the railroad track. We're coming down all the way down to Hirsch Road, which should be up there at the red light. Now, a friend of mine's had a grocery store right here, and there's still a grocery store there. James, he was once a bread man. This was his property. He came out here and built this grocery store right there. And right next door to him, he used to have Powell Barbecue that served good barbecue, man. Okay, we're going on down. We're going to come on down Hirsch, and we're going to turn left on Hirsch. As we go down Hirsch here, Hirsch is all of this is part of Trinity Garden. And Hirsch was a major street that played a vital role in Trinity Garden back in the 50s and early 60s. And we're going to come to a street called Weaver Road. We're going to turn on Weaver Road and go down Weaver Road, and right up in here was also a grocery store. Because one thing about the people that was the blacks that was over here in Trinity Garden in the early 50s and the early 60s, they always had places to buy food. They never had to worry about being hungry, not out here. Because some of them would grow their own food out here. You know, this is sometime, I remember coming out here when I was about 4 or 5 years old, and my grandfather Scobie, had a watermelon patch out here. Man, I couldn't believe that, man. Believe it or not, they used to have watermelons out here in Trinity Garden in the early 50s. Now, as we go down Weaver Road here, we're gonna come down to another busy street. All of this is part of Trinity Garden. See, and believe it or not, all these people used to have to crawl in and fit in over at E.O. Smith and Phyllis Wheatley if they wanted a high school education. Because see, Kashmir Garden School wasn't open, plus Kashmir Garden was a white area. So they had to go past the white folks area to go way over there on Market Street to go to Phyllis Wheatley, and then go way over there on Lyons Avenue to go to E.O. Smith after they get through graduating from elementary school over here in Trinity Garden.